Yeah. They were set up with some huge control here. Obviously, use the pull from the Silk Weaver, and then maybe potentially just try and get the pull, the damage from the likes of the Featherfoot or the Martial Genius. But I do like the Agudo in farm lane. Farm lane Agudo is something I like to play personally. I was in a bit of a rut in ranked until I picked this hero up, and it's very oppressive, right? Like you currently go, like you don't need your support in your lane once you get to level 4, right? It's kind of like having a 2v1 at all times after level 4.
Yeah, it definitely is. And then you also have, you know, the roll and the tumble furball, which means you kind of escape out of sticky situations, right? After the rework, you don't really get stopped when you hit someone with your second skill.
Yeah, it's very helpful, especially traversing the map as well. But here, speaking of traversing, it's going to be Blacklist. Look at the traverse and take the Crimson Golem #1 here from the side of Kagendra. I mean, this could be scary and a bit hairy here for Chaz. He's just trying to use the Cannon Blast, maybe get the lockdown onto Featherfoot here, so Faysure cannot get any damage up onto him because he's looking pretty squishy right now. But overall, a successful family trip into the enemy jungle. Again, Blacklist taking the Crimson Golem.
Yeah, because how do you fight against an Ogren? Level 1, he has the instant finish here. Looks like they will go for more on the side of Blacklist. He gets his Death's Precipice as well, which means he gets the heal value. He already has taken one camp away from Faysure. He has a level advantage, not just yet, but this is just going to snowball into a bigger lead here.
Oh, absolutely. The snowball, it definitely is a problem here for the side of Kagendra. I feel like maybe the saving grace could be around about the 4-minute mark if they don't get any kills, or maybe multiple kills before that point, because then obviously they can take the Tyrant, trying to neutralize any kind of lead that they did have. Also the flash of Senko as well. I mean, that's a pretty early use of the flash. We'll still be back in time for the 4-minute mark, though.
Yeah, so it's going to be a bit of a difficult situation here for the side of Kagendra. This was not the ideal start that they wanted, right? Faysure as the Fade. Right now, the reason why it's so difficult is because, yes, he still has his Hardened Jade Seal, but with the risk that he might be taken out in the team fights, that's going to be a huge cause of concern. Because now, even if you land the Hardened Jade Seal, if you take a fall in the team fights, you lose that Hardened Jade Seal. It's not in your favor.
Yeah, not in your favor. I mean, it's not the longest cooldown either, so it's not too bad, but it's, like you say, the opportunity that you create with a Hardened Jade Seal is something you can be missing for quite a few seconds. But now, actually be able to secure his own Crimson Golem is going to be a little bit more of a back to basics here for Faysure. But we like it. We like to see it. Zan is actually having a bit of a fun time in his lane here, not really losing too much priority overall. He's only about 100 gold away from Golden Kite's Parasolar.
I want you to take notice of the itemization on Dragon here. This is a very greedy start. He actually abandons the entire just boots and all for the cost of the first item, Insatiable Tome. It's not completed just yet, but I think this is a great idea, right? Over, you know, with massive sustain, they have a slight goal lead. They can start to really play a little bit more aggressive and more risky. And for every risk that you take that is successful, Blacklist takes one more step ahead.
They do take one more step ahead. They're ahead by around about 900. Well, that's only 600 gold. Let's not keep making quick maths on the spot here, but definitely in a better position than Kagendra right now. Obviously, this all seems to be snowballing from that moment that they were able to successfully take away that first Crimson Golem, right? But like, we're not really seeing Kagendra answering that call, and that's the problem here for me. Is the fact that Kagendra's not really reacting to the disrespect that Blacklist did in the early game.
Maybe they don't feel the need to, right? I think if you're already behind by a slight amount, you also don't want to jump into the rabbit hole where you slip and slide down into a 1,000, 2,000 gold deficit.
Yeah, out of the frying pan into the fire is definitely maybe the reason why Kagendra hasn't quite been as reactive as I would hope they would be. But a reaction is definitely needed down to the bot side of the map here. You can see that Blacklist are looking to just clear out this minion wave into the mid lane, just to get the priority and the potential drive away of this one. But oh, the damage coming through here from Faysure on the Featherfoot is definitely doing a number onto Justchi.
Not ideal. I mean, it is a pretty short cooldown on the ultimate, but this means Blacklist get prior start onto this 4-minute Tyrant here. Now, Kagendra, the response is absolutely necessary.
Destiny counter being procced here as well, but it's still going to get smited by Justchi. Can they get something for this one, though? The disrespect he brings over. Oh, no, Lou! He used the enhanced basic attack just at the wrong time. He got soul guided into the enemy team. We see the cannon blast come through with the Think inside the box. Perfect execution here from Dragon. We have Kagendra on the run, but Chaz could be a prize pony here, but it could be that T1 in the mid lane that may be the target overall.
It starts with a hairline crack.
Oh, it does indeed. It is the hairline crack that really opens up the side of Kagendra there. The takedown onto Zan as well. Blacklist coming with 3 kills. Definitely solidifying a big, healthy gold lead here for around about 1.6k.
Yeah, I mean, this hairline crack is starting to look like a fracture for the side of Kagendra, right? And it's a very dangerous notion because we talked about this. Take a look at this team fight. Number one, the movement by Facial in terms of entering was a little bit too slow, and the overcommitment on Lu. He was hoping that someone would be close by so that he can use his first skill to get back at the safety. But then they're jumping in. They're isolated one by one. And this is where the value of Blacklist's lineup is at, right? They already have the gold advantage. They have the Tyrant buff, by the way. So Kagendra, this is really just out of sync for them and maybe just a chemistry issue at this point. The confidence has been shaken.
Oh yeah, since game 1 victory hasn't been taken, especially that was probably like their most dominant performance as well, right? Like that was kind of like the clear kind of like immovable object meets the unstoppable force that seemed to be the state of play for game number 1. It was very equal. We weren't too sure. It was pretty much a toss of a coin at one point, but then every round since then, it's slowly but surely you can see the fumes of Kagendra are not flying the Garuda at this point in time. And the Blacklist, they're looking to just completely keep the script in this code.
Blue team has
They're not getting the height that they want, right? And at this point, even if they're getting the height, maybe they're flying too close to the sun. Because the main concern I had was, where is this initiation coming in from Kagendra, right? You need Saule in the fights to get something, or you need Senko to get the catch. But even when they do, right now they're behind on farm, close to 3,000 behind, by the way. You don't really get the kills and get out for free. Even if you get the trade, Blacklist will find more value.
They will. I mean, it seems to be like the fact is when they try and commit into the team fight, you've got Dragon there with the re-engine, just like basically getting the knockup. So what should be a knockup into the favor of Kagendra and kind of like an access into the back line, they kind of stuck there, especially if they get hit by then the cannon blast and then the Think inside the box. It's basically a one-way ticket with no return out of Blacklist Town.
Yes, and it's AoE setups, by the way. And here we go. They will try to secure this. This should be on the head. No, they didn't even get it.
Yeah, the Harlem Jade Seal is looking more like a soft toffee at this point, right? It's not actually connecting or even smiting anything here. Obviously, we did see the sunset, the boat sail for the side of Blacklist come through there, but then if they shut into the back line, this could be the shutdown that they're looking for. First kill goes over to Kagendra. They're looking for a little bit more. Lu goes in with a bit of a swing there, but still not much more to be claimed here by the side of Kagendra. But 2 kills is better than nothing here. They're looking for a little bit more. They get the shutdown on Zule. Could this be a potential comeback of Kagendra in the mid lane?
It definitely can, right? And this shows you the reason why Facial didn't use his ultimate here. Chami 1, can he get the catch?
Uh-oh, they played him in the brush there, but okay. Oh, Jammy, you jammy boy. He gets the double kill onto Zan, onto Lu. Fantastic play there, but I feel like that's basically the collateral damage here. So damage control for the side of Blacklist just to make sure that they don't lose any more ground in that mid lane.
There we go. That's the shimmer of hope that we're looking for. Kagendra, that was a great fight for them to take at this point. So understanding that they may not be able to take the Overlord away, and at this point it isn't the biggest loss, but to be able to find the angles to get the lives of Blacklist International members, that's going to be really important. Now the trade-off here is that Blacklist International now, they have full prior over this Tyrant. It's not the Shadow variant just yet, so Kagendra can count their lucky stars at this point. But they need more fights like this for Kagendra.
Did you? Yeah, Kagendra, if they take a few more fights like that, get like 3 kills and only train like maybe like 1 or 2 members, I mean that could have been completely mitigated if they didn't decide to be greedy. Like they was like, you can tell that the comms were like go go go, and maybe somebody was a little bit hesitant to be like, no, don't. Like we don't know where the intel of the likes of Chami is, and out of nowhere he comes out like Johnny, just gets the double knockup, gets the takedown. Kagendra could have been in a much healthier situation if it wasn't for that decision.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's also based on the cooldowns, right? I think Senko didn't have his Silk Imprint at that point of time, so that was a little bit unfortunate for the Kagendra side. And now I think they will want to go in. Whoa, what a nice catch.
Yep, they get the pull, they get everything, every bit of CC on there. The Destiny counter as well as the Gorge mobilization. The Hardened Jade Seal is now back and hard for the side of Kagendra. Yeah, we're going to take down onto Shami there, which is a good call, but they still have their jungle alive, right? Just Chi could look to go for the Overlord here just to counter the acquisition of that Shadow Tyrant, but we can see Beisha is traveling up top side of the map here. Golden Kite doesn't get caught out here, but he's able to use the Parasolar. Soleil is playing Olay, but there comes Dragon just to keep his brother alive, but there it is. Think inside the box. He's getting up to lock down Lu. We're seeing Soleil on the run as well. A beautiful play here by Zhan, just getting the pick up onto Just Chi.
Oh, nice.
They don't have any smite, but now, whoa! The double takedown of Beisha as well as Zhan.
That might have just saved the game for the side of Kagendra. Why I say that is because Golden Kite actually took a fall as he took Facer down as well. This means Blacklist cannot take that Shadow Overlord, because if Golden Kite was alive at that point, at this particular point of the game, he does have Frenzy. He can lifesteal his way back up, get the Shadow Overlord, and suddenly Kagendra now have to face with pressure on the T3s. But thankfully for the side of Kagendra, that's not going to be the case. Shami 1 finding value with the camps. Blacklist have to reset.
They do have the reset for now. I mean, it's a good point to reset rather than be a little bit overzealous here. I mean, they can't afford to be. They don't really have the minion wave over there in the bot side of the map here as well. But I feel like they don't have the intel that's needed to make a good move forward here. So I feel like maybe just reformulating, getting these buffs over to the likes of Golden Kite and Just Chi here as well is probably the right call for Blacklist.
Yeah, at this point, I think Blacklist needs to win the team fight. That's the most important part, because you can't risk the opportunity of the Shadow Overlord being taken away by Facer's ultimate here on the Hardened Jade Seal. So Blacklist, this is the risk they're taking. They cannot be caught, Joshi!
Uh-oh. Oh no, there's too much in that one brush there. I think that was a bit of a mistake. He shouldn't have gone into that brush. Maybe just wait till his teammates came through. A little bit of eagerness there from Just Chi, but they had no intel. Somebody had to make that move in the darkness. And speaking of getting moved into the darkness right now, Beisha gets knocked off the wall, but it's still going to be the same result there. The takedown onto Dragon is going to be fatal.
Okay, they give the life of Saoli in the defense for this attempt onto the Shadow Overlord, and Kagendra, I think this is a worthwhile trade as long as Shami 1 does not get the T3 at the bottom right now. They have to summon it. Yep, he's going to be caught out. The set sail is going to be used to try and traverse back into the defense of Blacklist. Unfortunate for them, the T2 will be traded out on the top side. So Kagendra playing the map a little bit better this time.
Yeah, Kagendra now back in control a little bit here as well. Obviously, they're still behind by around about 2.9k gold, which is still going to be a little bit of an issue for them here into these team fights, but we are going to get a bit of a technical pause here now. Something's not quite going astray, but Blacklist International definitely showing signs of slowing down a little bit here. Maybe just these bad decisions, especially that one earlier from Just Chi going into that brush, could be the nightmare that haunts them, especially if Kagendra takes this round.
They're kind of starting to mess up. The reason for this is because they're not using the appropriate checks that they have. Look, Blacklist International's lineup, the reason why this lineup is very strong is because they have brush checks. Number one, you have the Cannon Blast from the Moors, the Peacekeeper, right? Chaz needs to help the team check. You also have the Kachosans from Dragon in the mid lane. He needs to get those hits in. Check your brushes before you go in, because that is the number one mistake that Joshi made. Thinking that it was safe. Why would you think that the Shadow Overlord area is going to be safe when you have a Fei Shi guaranteed take on the Hardened Jade Seal? Do you know they're going to be waiting for you?
Yeah, it doesn't quite make sense, right? Obviously, like you said, they're not really utilizing the means of checking these bushes themselves, say for Blacklist. I feel like maybe it was just maybe the fact is like, right, if I don't check it, it was a bit of a gamble, if you think so. If you think of it in Just Chi's perspective, because like it's like we don't know where they are. If they're not in this brush, we can go for the Overlord. If they're in this brush, I'm donezo. And that's exactly what happened there. So it was just a gamble that they were willing to take, but is it now going to not pay off and potentially further this series for Blacklist to come back?
I think if you want to take that kind of risk, then the thing here is, I think Blacklist International has already shown you what they want to do, right? Even if Jashi and let's say, I don't know, Chami1 gets taken down, you still have the split push potential on the side of Golden Kite, right? He did manage to create a little bit of pressure in the mid lane. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, it was Chami1 who was responsible for getting a little bit of damage on the T3 before the Shadow Overlord was summoned. So if you're going to take the risk of putting Jashi in a position where he might be taken down, get the split push going as well.
Yeah, I mean, they did go for obviously a bit of a split push there as well. Obviously, they tried to go for the T3, right? They were able to do a little bit of damage, but it was the fact that they were able to get that Overlord there for the side of Kagendra. Like, it was just pretty much just like a play of desperation, it seemed like, from Blacklist. The fact is that they just tried to do something because they had nothing else to do, you know?
Yeah, look, they cannot repeat this mistake again. If they allow Jashi to be caught like that, can you imagine if it was a Tempest game? This would have swung the tides over because Kagendra did not lose a single member in that exchange. And if that situation presents itself in a Tempest game format, you instantly get the wave clear. You get the T3s because your turrets don't get to attack anymore. They don't get the defense. So Kagendra now are biding their time. Now they're hoping for Blacklist to make this mistake again. It's balls in their court for Blacklist International.
Yeah, like you said, obviously you can only make that same mistake one too many times, and I feel like just he's already made that mistake at least twice. Like there's been 2 times where he's been caught out a little bit more premature into these team fights than I would have liked to have seen. So I feel like the 3rd time is definitely going to be the nail in the coffin here for Blacklist if they do falter to that same kind of problem. But now, it's obviously just the technical pause that was waiting through here as well. Obviously, Kagendra have done very well to kind of ride the high that they were, well, ride the low that they were on as they were going into this game number 3, right? Like we were all commenting saying that they looked pretty low. The morale seemed to be down there. And then now they've got a kind of glimmer of hope and they're actually holding on to it. So I feel like that's props to Kagendra.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I don't really surf. In fact, I don't know how to surf, but there are low tides, there are also going to be high tides. And maybe with this bit on time, this is the point of the game where Kagendra can shift into the high tides and surf on this momentum. Now, they're going to start trying to make their way. Golden Kite, he does not want to be caught out here.
No, definitely not. I mean, he's been pretty slippery into these team fights, right? Like, I mean, that whole interaction top side of the map there where we really thought Soleil was going to have his number, but he's able to get out alive, which was a fantastic play here. But now, this is what I'm talking about. Kagendra now have the higher ground. They have taken the T2 down to the bot side of the map, and now they have free reign of those Crimson Golems, which is going to be a problem here for Blacklist International, because they're only ahead by around about 2k gold, which when you're playing from like this position where you have no real privilege in lane, it's going to be a hard one to try and come back from.
That's true, but I think the win condition for the side of Blacklist, as well as Kagendra, it's about Sauli. If Sauli does not show on the map, Blacklist cannot make a safe decision, right? Because if you know that Sauli is not there, then there is no AoE catch, unless you land Zan's ultimate on perfect ball. But here we go.
Ooh, baiting out of this Tyrant here. So able to get the pull potentially here onto Chaz. Soleil is just kind of like abusing and just being a little bit of a harasser into the backline here of Blacklist International, but he has been caught there. You can see where he is. The knockup's not going to quite come through. He gets out with the whatever's there, but it's going to be the bring through for Lu. But Lu is actually itemized up now that the damage coming from Just Chi is not going to be enough to get the takedown, but now comes Dragon into Lu. It's going to be the Conductor of Souls. Death Precipice gets pulled. The activation, the execution comes through. So stability here for the side of Kagendra is going to be a bit of a problem. Also, that minion wave top side of the map is going to be a bit of a problem here for the side of Kagendra as Soleil tries to commit a lot of that ult. He's used it in, gets serious. Is still waiting to be procced here by the side of Soleil.
Okay, this is going to be a reset for the side of Blacklist, right? He cannot be caught here. He needs to play a little bit safer. Nice catch.
Oh, very nice catch there. Chaz actually leaves with a bit of his life there. It's going to be the Cannon Blast that really puts the pressure on Soleil as well. But now it gives them room to actually get this Shadow Tyrant, which could be very favorable here for the side of Blacklist International.
All right, based on how we're looking at this game is going, if both teams actually play a little bit less aggressive, I think we will be heading into a Tempest game.
Oh yeah, no doubt heading into Tempest game here if they don't actually get some kind of real leeway for either of these two teams, right? Because obviously, if you look at the condition of the Gorge for both of these two teams, it looks a little bit healthier for Blacklist just because they have that T2 into the mid lane, whereas that damage onto that bot T3 is really going to be the weak point, or at least a focal point here potentially for Blacklist.
Yeah. Okay, Joshi actually goes for the Blood Rage. We'll see if that's the correct item in terms of the team fight here, right? The extra shield and the extra health percentage damage is definitely going to be important, but this T3 defense needs to happen for Kagendra.
No, it does, but it looks like the minion's going to take it there as well, so they do open up the base of Kagendra, but at the same time, Facial is looking to base run at least that Overlord, but he's like, guys, I need to get out of there, thanks for the intel. If he's stuck around, he's really holding on to the fact that his hardened Jade Seal is going to hit the way he wants it to.
Yeah, Kagendra was hoping that Blacklist was going to stay a little bit longer, right? That was the whole reason Facial wasn't involved in the defense. He was trying to sneak away that Shadow Overlord. But the attempt, of course, has been thwarted. Now, Blacklist International, they don't have to take this Shadow Overlord. They just need to bait Kagendra into a team fight. That is the whole onus of this here. Taking it is a perk.
Yeah, they've got this. That was too quick there for Blacklist International. A little bit too slow for Kagendra to actually make any sense of that one. But they get the Hardened Jade Seal onto the Crimson Gold, and denying that one away from Blacklist is probably just going to be a little bit of a Hail Mary play there by the side of Kagendra. But finding Soleil is the aim of the game, and Chami was able to do that.
This then depends on Kagendra, right? If they can make a defense on this absolutely destruction of a push from Blacklist on the top side, then maybe there is a chance of a comeback. But if they cannot deal with the, number one, staggering of the waves, or just clearing the waves in general, then Blacklist takes this in the next 2 minutes.
I feel like they need to take it the next 2 minutes, right? Because obviously if they don't, then like what we were saying earlier is like there is a potential Tempest Dragon on the cards here for either of these two teams, and it could be a long game, but the pressure into the top side of the map being put here, as well as the Radiance from the side of Blacklist International is really going to zone out the side of Kagendra. That T3 is definitely going to fall. A few Night Pose being spammed there onto the side of Blacklist International, but rather than just keep going, they're looking just to keep cracking and chipping away at their base.
It's a very smart move by the side of Blacklist, right? Now, let me explain to you why this positional turret difference is so advantageous for the side of Blacklist. Because on the side lanes, now there are going to be super minions marching down, right? That's a given.
Yes.
But if you're talking about wave clear, Blacklist, they don't really have to care about too much. The mid lane is an easy win for them. They have a pressurizing wave on both sides of the map. So Kagendra going to be forced to choose. You have to defend.
Yeah, do you choose your side lanes? Do you choose to defend that T3, the last soul surviving one onto the side of Kagendra here? That's going to be the kind of the golden decision here for the side of Kagendra. But right now, Blacklist International, they're just kind of like making the name here, but maybe just to get caught out here. He just build the Sage's Sanctuary just in time. But is that going to be enough here? The Gorge Mobilization doesn't quite hit at the same time. Blood Rage being connected as well. Lu dives in, but is it going to be enough to keep him locked down? The pull comes through from Senko. That is going to be trouble here for the side of Blacklist International with Chaz on the run there. Lu dives in a little bit too quick, and now Facia is onto the back line. Hardened Jade Seal doesn't quite proc onto anybody, but now Golden Guy gets taken down, and that's a problem for Blacklist. They have 2 members alive, but nobody to answer the call at that Tempest Dragon.
Overzealous. I think Joshi was definitely overthinking there at that point, right? He actually used his Conductor of Souls, thinking that the Kagendra members would dive him at the point of his revival, but they did not. Very smart decision by the entire team. So they are in sync at this point, finally. But here comes the pain point for the side of Kagendra. They have to defend against super minions on the top and the bottom. This movement from the side of Kagendra was really great. And Lu, for the first time, that aggression on the catch for the Bitter Farewell really worked towards their favor. Separating the team, Zan now has advantage against Golden Kite, especially when they have the support of Lu with the redemption for the roam item and the heals coming in. So this is now the prime point for Kagendra to mount their comeback, because if they can't do it here, there is no other way.
No, exactly. Not with 6 seconds left onto the Tempest Dragon here for the side of Blacklist International. I mean, the goal lead at this point means absolutely diddly squat. We're 20 minutes in. Everybody should be pretty much 6 slotted in terms of their itemization. It's all going to be about locking in and interchanging those active items that have now got an increase as well, because that 20-minute mark has now been procced here onto the Gorge. But this is now anyone's game. The worst team fight, whatever happens here, whichever team comes out more battered and bruised, is going to lose this one.
The main thing for me here is both Feishu and Joshi, they are only left with one Sage's Sanctuary charge. That's it.
Yes.
Both of them are on cooldown right now. So if you're able to take out either one of these junglers, that gives you an immense amount of advantage in terms of the win percentage ratio here.
Exactly. It's all going to be pretty much eyes on the prize here, and I feel like Just Chi is always kind of like out of line here onto the Ogryn. I feel like it seems to be a bit of a staple thing here. Whenever it goes onto the Ogryn, big mistakes happen. So it's never kind of like a big pick that I'm really hoping for here. Obviously, pressure being put down to the bot side of the map here with that minion wave come through. Feishu is now away from the team fight, so can really a 4v3 here really take place? And the pressure still somehow is in here as they take a look to try and take away the Azure Golem, not quite getting it there, but they're probably looking for Soleil, right? Like, they're just like, hey guys, he's not anywhere near us, he's more than likely going to be near you guys with this Tempest Dragon style. No.
Yeah, Feishu, I think if they don't stop in here, this is a guarantee. But the split push coming in.
Oh, Chami down to the bot side of the map as well could be the basically game changer. You can see that he is looking for the run. They do get the Tempest Dragon here, but Chami is going to be able to get the Crystal takedown with the minions. It's going to be this phase to the freeze charge. It's actually going to be enough, and Chami gets the Crystal in game number 3.
This one is a